Hello and welcome back to the Living Room Chat podcast with myself, Matt, and himself, Ryan.
Hello.
Is himself? Do people say that?
No.
It just seems.
And then I just pointed at myself and said hello to me. I meant to say hello to these guys.
Cool. We're back again, episode 6 now.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. So we're rocking and rolling.
So we
starting to get the hang of these. Always setting up these cameras.
Took a little while, didn't it? And we've got obviously the mics today as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
really
it's funny. We went from the biggest gap between our podcasts from like just before Christmas to last week, and then we've gone from the shortest to the shortest gap of just 6 days between recording now.
Just 6 days. Yeah. Well, if anyone who's watched the last episode will know we made the target of 40 episodes by the end of the year. So
well on track now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that'd be 2 in 2 weeks, which is a good start. So there we go.
Of course, the thing with doing them every week is that we've got to keep on top of the current affairs and what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I do anyway. I like watch the news constantly. Most mornings I'll go through Sky News, check out the updates. Obviously, we're massively on social media active, so you can see things that pop up. So we can talk about current affairs and stuff, can't we?
So Sky News, your preferred app of choice?
Yeah, I just like the way it feels. Funny story actually. I valued a house a couple of years ago. I was in Sindlesham, and the lady who owned it worked within the marketing team of the BBC.
Right.
And I told her during the appointment, I was going around, I think I was measuring up actually, and I was like, yeah, so I use Sky News actually. I can't stand the way the BBC News app is. It's so boring.
You watch her face getting red.
And one-dimensional, and she was like, no, she was loving it. She was like, oh, bro, give me more feedback. And I just said, Sky News seems user-friendly, it's active, it's clear, it's concise. I just like the way it's laid out. Compared to BBC News, it doesn't seem like it's changed for many years. It's red on the website, it's yellow for sport.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
I remember seeing an old BBC webpage from like 2005.
It looks exactly the same, I imagine.
Yeah, we can go in the archive. To be fair, they've updated it a little bit, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's funny to me because I always assume most people choose their news source as like, well, what they align with politically, but you just choose it because you like the theme.
Do you know what as well? We didn't even plan this, but the first topic I've got is the media, and we've just started talking about news.
That's a segue.
It's a segue if I've ever heard one. There we go. So, should we dive straight into some nitty gritty?
Yeah, man. What you got?
Harry.
Again,
but you have to because it's such current news.
Yeah.
But I want to take it off in a little bit of a tangent because I think we both agreed I don't know if we both agreed or not. I keep changing per episode whose side I'm on. I'm firmly now on Harry's side.
So what I actually really like about this Harry and Meghan thing is I don't know which side I'm on, and it's bringing up really interesting conversations.
Yeah.
I was with my 90-year-old grandparents the other day for dinner, and it came up, of course, they're both royalists. They completely disagree about Harry and Meghan.
Okay.
So my nan is very old and traditional. She thinks Meghan Markle's a witch. She didn't use the word witch, but she had some very...
Something along that day.
And my grandpa thinks they're great and they're modern and they've got every right to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that, for me, was a very important reminder that you can disagree with someone you love and still carry on with your life.
But you're not sure which camp you fall into.
So I'm not sure. I saw Harry's 60-second interview, where he only did 30 minutes. I thought that was a bit of a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, because, controlling the narrative, if you've had all these horrible things said and then you move away and people are still saying horrible things, you want to control the narrative. I get it. I also get him cashing in on it as well.
There's arguments to both sides. You can see why people get frustrated, angry, and have got such highly emotive opinions on it. Yeah, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm undecided, so you can kind of see both sides. And
the thing that really, and this is the way I wanted to go with it, rather than speaking specifically about the Harry situation. Obviously, that's the catalyst for this conversation. But more about the media and how they portray stories is what I wanted to touch on with you, and where it sparked from. And it was what Harry said in one of his interviews with I think he did it. It was on the American late night show. With that famous host that I can't remember.
He's done a whole tour, hasn't he?
Yeah, mate, he's literally everywhere. Yeah, he's going to pop up every single newsfeed. But he was saying that the extracts of the book that came out in the media over the weekend, just gone, he's killed 25 people in war, the Taliban, and he was bragging about it. He was boasting about it. Our old friend Piers Morgan, who loves to say it, he was literally going on about it again, even though Harry's come out and said they took a single sentence out of the book, dissected it to feed their narrative.
Yeah.
Where actually, if you read the whole passage and the context is about, he's not bragging, he's not boasting. He's actually trying to create a platform where people that have gone through that situation and can't speak about it, just to help them. And this is, whether he's lying about that, I don't know. He's obviously a very good liar if he is. But the whole motion of taking one sentence out of someone, and flip side, Russell Brand as well. Yeah. I saw a clip of him recently when I was digging into bad media, and he said something exactly the same thing. He said he loves, the best part of his job is being a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Because it's him and his audience.
Yeah.
Nothing can be misconstrued. No one, if he says a joke, no one thinks it's being said as serious nature.
Yeah.
It can't be misled.
Yeah.
Whereas the media will take a transcript of what he said and make it into something it is not.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happened with the media and Harry. They've sold papers by saying he's a dick, he's a boastful murderer.
Yeah.
It's not the case.
But it is just to sell papers, isn't it? I notice it in the property market, obviously we both operate in. I'll see a headline, and because we know the deeper facts, I'll see a headline and I'll be like, that's really annoyingly misleading.
Yeah. Because how many buyers are going to read that and think, shit, prices have gone down 10%?
Yeah.
They haven't. We literally said this in the last podcast. They haven't, have they?
And I think it's a skill in itself, and I think as time goes on, it's going to be more and more important for people to be able to apply critical thinking, because your news feed of whatever the social platforms are for the next 20 years, your news feed is just going to send you whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
So if you believe in, if you're anti-vax or whatever, you're just going to get reinforced that. So I think being able to analyze information critically is something I think we all need to get better at.
We're talking about it now on our podcast, and it's been talked about for years and years and years, how the papers, the media manipulates the narrative of what people feed the public what they want to hear. Bad news is news that sells papers, for example.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just got worse now because of social media? Because normally the post, that you get a paper each day and they have a day to run the story, but now it's just so much content out there. They can just pick it up and grab it and run with it.
I mean, if we look at social media, though, as just an extension of the internet, the internet really should help, because we all have the tools there at our fingertips to do deeper research. I think the problem is most people don't do that deeper research.
Yeah.
And they've got more and more inputs because of social media. So it's probably easier to just flick through, see a headline, talk about it at the pub with your friends, and then that's how it spreads.
I think, in a nutshell, the only real... Well, not even that. I was just going to say the only real news you can believe is what comes out of said person's mouth. But then they have their own agenda.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying Harry's lying, or people like him in his position that have been, absolutely annihilated by the press, whether they're lying. But again, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, they've got a point." Actually, the news media, I was a bit of a dick.
And I think it's probably one of those things, like with most things in the world, it's not like it's grey. It's not black or white. It's not like Harry and Meghan are great or Harry and Meghan are terrible. Yeah. The truth will be somewhere in the middle. And
I think that's the great thing about people. You can form your own opinion from the information. Interesting point you said there, though. The way social media works, and it's just going to keep feeding your view. Because if you have your view that you don't like Harry and Meghan, everything you see that supports them, that's bollocks. And everything you see that absolutely castrates them, you're like, well, that's true, and it's just feeding the bear, isn't it?
I notice it on TikTok as well. When I engage with something more than, when I'm liking something, and then I see it again, I'm like, hang on a minute, the algorithm's got me. I'm trapped.
You do though, because when you go, I do a lot. I watch a lot on Facebook, just the videos and the little icons says watch. And I watched one video of guys pulling pranks on each other, which seems to be the only thing that now comes up on my algorithm. Just constant. Which don't get me wrong, I like it. And car crashes. That's another thing that comes up on my algorithm quite a lot.
Car crashes.
Yeah, I've got this. So at lunch, I only have a 15-20 minute break, 12 o'clock every day. Go and make my lunch. Normally the same thing every day, and. feel free to ask me what it is. I'm not going to say, but I can.
Yeah, he's a man of structure. Lunch, same time every day, same
Yeah.
thing. What do you have for lunch every day?
I have scrambled eggs and beans on toast.
For lunch?
For lunch, yeah.
Yeah, I have breakfast.
Or a sandwich.
But do you skip breakfast?
No, it's 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter and a
enough.
black coffee.
So it's like an easy breakfast.
Yeah, and I have a lunch, and then we normally eat at 5:30 though for dinner. When everyone get hungry.
Yeah, it's minor, I guess. It's early dinner.
Well, I pushed the boat out today and had avocado.
Oh, I was thinking there's more content to be had with avocado toast.
Absolutely.
Anyway, this is a detour.
Yeah, massive detour. But for the 10 minutes, so I sit down, so I cook my lunch, takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes, sit down, and then I watch on YouTube car crash compilations. So just like dash cam footage of people crashing.
So I put ones.
There's some pretty bad ones. Tell you what, I'll find a bad one. Not a bad one. Hopefully no one gets injured in these.
Find a funny one.
A funny one, and we'll drop it in there now. So you watch it now. Also, for our audio listeners, we never apologise to them if they're an audio listener because they can't see what we're talking about. So we apologise for not being able to see this car crash. You'll hear the screeching of the noise, but
anyone interested enough, you can go to youtube.com and find us.
And actually on Spotify, if you're not driving, if you watch it on Spotify, the video comes up as well.
That's true. Yeah, and Spotify has like a car mode now as well. Where it's
Anyway, that's what I watch. So that's what comes up in my algorithm. People pulling pranks on each other, car crashes, and then normally some motivational speaker will come up. Yeah. Typically, they're my three go-tos anyway.
Do you know the band in 1975?
I do.
I'm a big fan, and they've been doing a tour recently. And part of their thing is they're just really over the top on stage, so I kept getting them in my algorithm constantly.
I've had a few pop up where I've watched like Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, and they get like a kid on stage who plays guitar or plays the drums.
Yeah, I love that.
And then I get loads of those come up where they pull people out from the crowd on the stage, and they're incredible, artists in their own right, like musicians, but just a nobody.
Yeah, I
love that. Go on.
Well, no, I was just coming back to our original point in that the media has the one job is to get clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And
promote conversation and engagement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which
you could argue is similar to what we do when we're selling houses.
Yeah. And we're always talking from our own perspective, our own narrative, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because although we and I genuinely believe the content we put out there is to help people, it is always geared around what we do differently. Like, I don't just say, if you're going on market, make sure you've got a property video. I don't just say that for the sake of it. It's the right advice because it helps sell the property. But deep down, I know full well that 90% of estate agents don't do that.
No.
And we do the best property videos out there.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's almost a backhanded way of saying this is what we do, but whilst trying to give correct information. So we have an agenda when we're posting. Of course, everyone does, don't they?
Yeah, everyone does. And I think it's, I don't know if bad news is easier to sell.
Yeah, absolutely is. No one wants to listen to good news. Although, in about 3 segments' time, I have got a really cool news story that I found that just inspirational. It inspired me, and I opened the rabbit hole, went down, follow them on Instagram now, watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I like what they're doing. It's really, really cool. So we'll come on to that a bit later anyway.
Okay.
What else we got? Other than news, have you got any topics, or are you just leaving it to me today?
I had some agency chat.
Okay.
Are we going to dig into that?
We can do a little bit of agency, can't we? I've actually got some agency chat. What's yours?
I mean, I've had, coming back in the new year, all of the deals which didn't close before Christmas, I'm catching up with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with several high street estate agents and chains. And as you know, when you have a chain, you're as strong as the person at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? So the person at the bottom is responsible for the success of the rest of the chain.
Yeah.
I don't like this, and I tell my clients, whenever you can, avoid chains, because
they're a nightmare, and more things can go wrong.
And I think as well, the thing about change is you're handing over so much control to someone you don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm in this chain with an agent below, and it's just quite obvious that they're not really that bothered about the deal getting done. I mean, it's their job obviously to kind of reply to the emails and to update their clients and to do a certain level of service.
Yeah.
But for me, there's a lot of money waiting for me when this sale completes, and I'm getting paid a lot because I care, and I care.
Yeah.
So I think I get paid a lot. It's kind of like I think with what we do, it's a good balance our interests being aligned. Anyway, it's clear that this agent below, they're using a lot of language like hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All being well.
You know, we'll have surveys we're having surveys popping up like 2 months, 2.5 months into a transaction. Like, where's the survey come from?
Yeah.
You know, and I can see for them, it's like, well, this is one of 100 sales. You know, hopefully it's okay. Maybe it's not. Yeah. Maybe I'll get my £50 commission. Maybe I won't. You know, and obviously I'm finding this frustrating, and I'm doing everything I can, but it's the nature of change.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to just kind of flesh out the conversation with you, really.
It's a really good point, to be fair, because a good chain with good agents involved can be the difference of it going through or not going through. Yeah. Like
for 3, 4, 5, however many people are in that chain.
Exactly that. Yeah. So I had a transaction, sold £1 million property in Tyhurst, and from when it went to under offer, memos went out, to exchange was 7 weeks, and there was 3 properties in the chain.
Oh, wow.
And I said this to the 2 estate agents I dealt with. One was down in the New Forest, one was down somewhere on the south coast. Mm-hmm. Never ever spoken to them before. And the guy at the top of the chain, to be fair to him, he instigated it. He put a little email together with the 3 agents involved, myself included.
Amazing.
And said, look guys, we've all got a lot riding on us. He was actually a self-employed estate agent as well. He runs his own business.
Interesting.
Which is where it came from.
Yeah.
But the lady in the middle was awesome as well. And we just had this email chain, and every Monday, just quickly email, first, like in the Monday morning, mortgage offers in, searches applied for, this is what happened, because we knew our clients wanted to exchange before Christmas, and we had 7 weeks to do it. It was virgin on. I was telling my clients, guys, this ain't going to happen. Like, won't worry about it. You won't be exchanging until January. And we want to push it. Anyway, we did it in 7 weeks, and I'm not for one moment suggesting that it was down to us as the estate agent. Of course it's not. They all had good solicitors. We had highly motivated buyers, incredible sellers, but we could have missed things. I know for a fact we exchanged on the 23rd of December and then completed Monday just gone the 9th. I know that wouldn't have exchanged if those agents, if we hadn't communicated as well as we had.
So there's a self-employed agent at the top.
Yeah, he ran his own business.
Okay,
but one-man band, similar to what we do, working on his own.
He's got skin in the game for that commission at the end.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the agent in the middle was very good, but
very good estate agent. Worked for an employed a company. I didn't even check him out. I didn't need to. She was that good.
You see, and people like that are an absolute credit to their employers. And I'm realising this more and more, because it's like,
but
caring. You know, it's just
it makes such a difference. And then coming back to the point you made, obviously, when you've got poxy estate agent, not just, and I know you're specifically about estate agents here, but also shit solicitors as well.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
honestly, you've saved my life. I've got one at the moment where we should have exchanged before Christmas, let alone now.
Yeah.
And the solicitor that was recommended through the broker, it's my buyer. It's my client's buyer.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I really would prefer you to use a high street solicitor, the one I recommend. I didn't get any money for them, genuinely, but they're very, very good.
Yeah.
My seller's using them. And the solicitors have been going head to head, like quite arsey emails to one another that I'm CC'd into. I'm not there with the popcorn, like, whoa.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I get copied into those emails, when you see the conversation go like that. But then I find with solicitors especially, and with solicitors there's a level of education there. And
competency, there should be.
There should be, fair point. But the more that those walls come up, I always see like the less likely it is for the deals to get done.
I think one of the emails was signed off by the seller's solicitor to the buyer solicitor saying, "Get a grip on this file and pull yourself together." That's how it was. How it was signed off.
Yeah, and that's never.
And I did think that, and I thought, oh god, I went obviously never going to say names on this, of course, but I'll tell you after who it was. But
no one gets an email signed off like that and thinks, Yeah, good point, actually.
Do you know what? I'm going to
check myself
and pull myself together. I'm going to sort this out for him.
Thanks, I needed that.
But no, I think estate agency, and funny enough, mate, actually that... Segue again, here we go. So good at these, aren't we? My topic is poor estate agency practices.
Okay.
In particular, and actually you showed me this, generic emails, and also inexperienced staff, which I wanted... inexperienced staff as a topic sounds bad, but I just want to sort of give my point of view on it.
Yeah, sure.
But the generic email one I found quite funny. So when I left back in 2015, I called it my sabbatical. I worked for a really good high street agent for many years, and I took out and I worked for one of the big probably the first big online company. Purple Bricks. I've said it. That's out there now.
I wasn't going to say it.
No, nor was I just did it.
You did it.
But anyway, it sums this company up anyway. So when I left and went back to my old high street company, I was getting calls probably 6 months, maybe even a year later, calling saying, "Hi, is that Ryan from Purple Bricks?" I was like, "No, it's not. I left the company a year ago," and that sums this company up in one fell swoop. And basically, I was never taken off the website. I was still there as the local property agent for Reading.
Yeah.
And it was really good for me, obviously, because I was like,
Sure.
well, funny enough, I'm not, but I am still a Reading-based estate agent. How can I help you? Oh, I'm looking to sell my house, looking to buy this. Fantastic. So I actually got business from it, so I wasn't that fussed.
That's so funny.
But the funny thing is, and you showed me an email that came through where an email was sent from my old company last week, I think it was, recently.
Yeah, it was,
Bear in mind, I left nearly a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was a generic email that came out from the estate agent, signed off by Ryan Bloomfield, branch manager. I haven't been branch manager there for a year.
Yeah.
And it's not particularly, that's just a joking side, it's a little plug against them, but generic emails from not just estate agents, but companies in general. How much does it drive you up the wall?
I mean, I hate generic emails. I think everyone does, don't they? I try and declutter my inbox as much as I can. As soon as I sign up for something, they start sending me emails, unsubscribe immediately.
Absolutely.
And I used to think, when I started in this business, like, every email is going to be perfectly capitalised and punctuated and all of this stuff. Now I'm like, that stuff doesn't matter so much.
Yeah.
As long as you're reaching out on time, being genuine, giving the right information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, generic.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I never ever sent a generic email. I have preset templates for certain things. If someone inquires on a property that's sold and I can't get hold of them, I have a preset email that goes out.
Yeah.
Someone sends through an instant valuation request but doesn't want to call, I have an email that goes out.
Yeah.
But the big point is, they're not just press a button and go. I still have to copy it in, put their name, and I have a little sentence where it's bespoke to them. The first sentence. Thanks for your inquiry on 4 Acacia Avenue. This is, and then I have the adaptation from there. But just blanket generic emails, and then with people's names on emails that don't even work for that company, I think they need to look at themselves a bit, don't they?
Do you know? Yeah, absolutely. And that's just... That's probably never been brought up because nobody knows, because they'll get a generic email. They either want a valuation in which they click through, or they don't, in which they ignore it.
Yeah.
The name to the person receiving that email is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually.
But it's like, for the company, it's like, why do you not have those systems and processes?
And double check, It might just be an old generic email that just keeps ploughing out every 6 months, but they just haven't updated their systems. But I thought it was amusing, and I think generic emails in a estate agency should be thwarted as much as possible.
Yeah. And I think you can swap perfect grammar and stuff for just quick timing. Do you know another thing that annoys me with emails, right? When people don't respond.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this. You might do this, and so I'm sorry if this triggers you. When I get an email...
Has Matt emailed me? I think he has.
I'm always like, if it doesn't need replying to, but what I'm trying to say, it's important to say if you've received a message. Yeah.
You can, like on WhatsApp, I'm a big fan and a constant, you'll know this from our WhatsApp chats, but I love a little react to message.
Yeah.
Little thumbs up.
Yeah, like that.
You can do that on email.
In fact, you did it on an email yesterday.
I do it all the time now. Because you're right, it's an email that doesn't need to be responded to, but you, out of courtesy, wouldn't acknowledge you've got it.
When it's just like, I'm really on top of my emails. Everything's in a folder, everything's... Yeah. But I know there are lots of people who aren't like that. Yeah. I've seen the January Instagram stories of people coming back to work with 1,000 emails. Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, my email could be in that 1,000 emails and it's important, and you could miss it because your boss is... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's good point, really good point. But I think just the little reactions work well. But then I think this just serves a purpose for different people, isn't it? I've been guilty of the fact if someone's emailed me and I've got my diaries are so structured with, this is time for sales progression, this is time for content, this is time for generating valuations. If emails come in there, I won't check them.
No.
And sometimes I do miss them, and sometimes I go back 3 or 4 days later, sorry, I didn't reply. Yeah. Here's a response. But obviously if they're urgent, you know they're urgent because you read them, you go, that's urgent. and deal with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think just being on top of it is important.
Yeah.
I think also, and I think, we're in a job of just being helpful professional people.
Yeah.
Something as simple as being on top of your emails, to me, that's
But I think customer service these days, like back in the day, if you hadn't had a response within 3 or 4 hours on an email, you would think, well, they're not on top of things, are they?
Yeah.
But people now, like, you can be on hold for half an hour and people don't really bat an eyelid anymore. Like customer service, like people's expectations of customer service has dropped, I would say, significantly over the last few years.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. You reckon it has?
I'm on hold, like at a bank, for example. I won't name the bank. Or should I name the bank? Fuck it, NatWest. They they run the account for our PTA school funds, which I'm a treasurer.
Right.
So, and I've had a lot of issues with them in terms of closing it, like trying to lock our account because there's things that aren't done properly when they are being done properly. And I can be on hold for 20, 25 minutes. But it's just next to me and I'm typing away on emails or I'm editing photos and they answer, hi, this is Shelley. Hey, Shelley, how are you? How's your day? They don't say, sorry for keeping you on hold. And I don't say, Shelley, I've been on hold for 25 minutes. That's shit.
Because you just think, well, that's
it's just
how
norm,
it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You're prepared for it.
Do you know what I hate? When they're like, oh, can you speak your account number into the phone or whatever, your account number, and then you're there going AZ32G, and then it reads it back to you. I had that as
AZ2. Oh, fuck.
and then a human answers the phone and they go, hi, can I take your account number? Every time. It drives me mad. Like, if you're a customer service person out there in the world in charge of these systems, please
sort it out.
change
Yeah.
It drives me mad.
One thing, as we're on a rant now about poor customer service.
I've got more.
Mate,
I'm going to talk about my phone.
So I
in a minute.
left Virgin Media in November.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess how many different numbers have called me asking why I left and do I want to re-sign up?
So in November, so not that long ago.
So in a 6-week period. So they have stopped now after I literally told them to fuck off.
Was it one a week?
Well, actually, yeah, in the 6-week period. Pretty much. I had 9 different calls from Virgin Media. Hi, this is Patrick from Virgin Media. I don't know why.
Sorry you've gone.
Yeah, I've seen you recently. I don't know why it was American. I won't do the accent again. I've seen you recently left. Can I ask why? No, I told the first colleague that called me 6 weeks ago why I left. And it's because I no longer watch TV. I don't need Virgin Media package. I just watch YouTube and I just watch Facebook and Instagram. That's all I watch.
Yeah.
So I don't need it. I don't need TV. And I changed my internet provider because yours too expensive. Oh, so it's too... No, stop. I don't want to talk to you. Hang up.
Yeah.
And then literally 2 days later, there's another guy. Hi, Shelley again. She gets around a bit, Shelley.
Shelley.
Hi, Shelley again from Virgin Media. Shelley, fuck off. Constant calls when you want to leave a company and they just...
Yeah.
They understand, they want to get your business, fine. But, come on. It's got to be a point, isn't it? Stop.
And one call to win the business back, fine. Another call for feedback because you genuinely want that feedback. For Virgin Media, knowing they've lost a customer because he's watching videos for free on YouTube, if I were Richard Branson, whoever is in charge now, you'd want to know that, wouldn't you, across all of your customers? Yeah. But But
there's a lot, and I think there's a lot that can be said about that. But even when I tried to trying to close the account. Talking about being on hold, that's another one. I was on hold for 45 minutes to Virgin Media just to try and close the account.
Yeah.
And I couldn't close it because I was a day early before my month ends. So I had to call back the next day. I was like, can't you just take my details now and do it tomorrow? Yeah. No, we've got to do it on the system live.
Doesn't work like that.
And then when you try to close the account, they have to go through again and re-quote you just to see. I'm like, I want to leave. I just need to run another quote for you just to see if we can beat your deal. It was painful, and that's how they keep people, because people just can't bother to go through it and just stay there paying extra cash.
It probably is, yeah. I mean, I'm so stingy that I would but then, yeah, it's just annoying, isn't it? So my phone bill at the moment, what I did is I changed 2 numbers on the same day. I never do this.
Yeah.
So you order your pack code.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to move, what was it in? So I was moving my personal number to another phone and my work number to my phone, right?
Got you.
So I got my 2 pack codes and it basically happened on the same day. The numbers all moved, no problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
I then couldn't sign into my account. And I called up the Voxy, who my contract's with. They're a part of Vodafone. They're like the cheap Vodafone people. And they were like, yeah, you don't have an account. I was like, I do have an account. They're like, no, you don't. You transferred it out. I was like, no, I do. I've still got this number. It's with you now. They're like, no, sir, you don't have this number. I'm like, I do. I'm calling you from it now. Anyway, this was in mid-October.
Yeah.
I've spent over 5 hours at this point talking to and trying to get it sorted.
Yeah.
They're not charging me for my phone right now. And I've got a problem because this is my business number.
Right.
So you can imagine my annoyance.
Yeah. But you're still getting calls, obviously.
I'm still getting
still
calls.
working.
My phone works fine. They're not charging me for my plan. And they have no record of my number existing.
Surely they're just going to terminate it at some point, though, aren't they?
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And actually talking about it now is stressing me out again. And it's so stupid because it's a SIM-only contract. And I was just like, I wanted to move my numbers around for this reason. And I've just shot myself in the foot, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair enough.
And because Voxy are like the cheap subsidiary of Vodafone, you can't get anyone on the phone. It's all done through the instant message.
Which just goes on forever. And then if you leave it for too long, it just cancels the message chat, doesn't it?
Exactly.
If you miss a message and you're making a cup of coffee or something, and you go back and it's gone, you're like, oh. And you have to wait. Someone will be available. I don't know why they're all American, sorry.
Yeah,
someone will be available for you in 26 minutes.
Yeah, and to be fair, we're always on the chat quite quickly, but I've spent over 5 hours at this point, probably doing the chat maybe 6 or 7 times with different people.
Yeah.
I've taken a different approach every time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes being really arsey, sometimes being really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How you doing? What you wearing?
Yeah.
Sorry, Clive. I thought you were Claire.
Yeah, they're always like, "Oh, how's your day going?" My day's great, thank you. How are you? I'd really appreciate your help with this matter.
Yeah.
And then I've tried it being really arsey.
Yeah. Shit.
Anyway.
Phone's fucked. Sort me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've never done it, but the message comes up saying, our staff will not tolerate any bad language or.
Yeah, one of them just disconnected the chat with me, and I realised that was,
stupid.
He can disconnect the chat, and what am I going to do? I've got no record of the chat.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there will be somewhere in the abyss.
Anyway, I needed to get that off my chest, mate. So thank you.
No. As we say, podcast is free therapy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Free therapy just for you and I.
Exactly.
And if anyone wants to come on, they can have free therapy with us as well.
Yes.
And we'll be nice.
Yeah.
Not like some customer service. Inexperienced staff in a state agency.
Yeah, so I know the avocado brand talks about this a lot. We obviously look after everything to do with our sales. I don't necessarily... I'm of the opinion that when you view a house, you're viewing the first time with your heart and the second time with your head.
Yeah.
I don't like to sell too much when I'm on the first viewing. I'm like, you want to see the house, you want to have a look around. And then the second viewing is when I'm there, like, going into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
But I guess where you're going with this is inexperienced staff doing the viewing.
I just think there's a certain level of, we've said it earlier, competency. There should be a certain level before you just let loose. Yeah. Like, obviously, I've booked and I have conducted thousands of viewings. Probably thousands of viewings in 15 years.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah.
And I look at even just feedback from people. I had a viewing on Saturday and I was the last agent to meet them, and they'd seen probably 5 or 6 different estate agents.
Yeah.
And it's like, not Harry, I'm not arrogant here, but they said I was the best. I was like, thank you very much. But no, joking aside, they said every question you've been able to answer.
Yeah.
You know everything about the property. You know everything about the local area. The one question you didn't know, which was the roof, was the loft boarded. Hands up, I didn't actually know.
Yeah.
You find out from the seller. You messaged them whilst we're on the appointment, and you found out.
Yeah.
And that level of okay, cool. Viewings are one aspect, but and sellers don't see that. They don't see that as.
It's not really thought about, is it?
No, you look at your fees, your contract lengths, the marketing, but actually it's a big part of selling houses.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really take that into account when considering their agent.
No.
Because who's going to be doing the viewings?
Yeah.
And this particular client said to me, one of the ladies that showed him around on the Saturday, she was 10 minutes late for the appointment. They had 10 minutes to look around. She didn't know any questions. She even said to them, look, I can't have any questions. I just do the viewings on the Saturday. You need to call the office. But the office wasn't open.
So that there is the problem. You need to call the office is the problem when it should be, I don't know. I'll get someone to reach out to you on Monday with the answers.
I just think, and when I had staff working for me doing viewings, I do a load of viewings with them. I let them go out for a couple of weeks. Then I go back and do another load of viewings with them just to see how they are.
Yeah.
And I always say there's few key points, and it comes with experience, and that's the job of the estate agent. If you're working within an office, if you're the senior person, you need to educate the people younger and less experienced than you.
Yeah.
These are the questions that are going to come up. Questions. I can name the 5 questions in any viewing. What's the seller's position? How long has it been on the market? Have there been any offers? Where's the boiler? And which way is the garden face?
Yeah.
They are the 5 questions that I'm going to ask in every single viewing.
Yeah.
So to go without knowing about the boiler, and obviously it's easy to work out the orientation of a garden because you've got compass on your iPhone.
Yeah.
But not knowing the position of the seller, not knowing how long it's been on the market, not know what the interest levels are like.
Yeah.
How can you do the viewing properly and give that client the best experience without knowing that basic bit of information?
I think that's the difference, isn't it? Is it just someone who's opening the door and being there for security while a stranger goes around the house?
Yeah.
Or is it a part of selling the house?
Yeah.
You know?
And you hit the nail on the head. You can't force people to buy properties, but you can certainly help with their, the push in the right direction. They might be on the fence. They might love the house, but not quite sure on the area.
Yeah.
And you tell them about the local schools or the little cut through at the end of the road that goes through to the park.
Yeah.
Or the pub around the corner, like whatever it may be. Those subtle differences could be the difference between them thinking, do you know what? Let's make an offer. Or, do you know what? Let's go for the other house. I prefer location.
I had a viewing this morning with someone who's looking for their first property, and it's one flat in a block of 4. And she said to me, "Oh, what are the neighbours like? Their ages and their jobs?"
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this information.
Of course, why would you?
So, I kind of thought like maybe I should know that because it's a small block, not a big block. But with the best will in the world, we can't know. We can't know
unless you've seen him parking their car or walking out the flat. You're not going to know, are you?
But of course, the seller's on WhatsApp, so I said, "No, I'll ask it straight away." And by the end, 10 minutes later, we had a response from the seller. With all the answers. So
and I think that I need to make more of that actually. When I'm in someone's living room telling about what we do at Avocado, I do talk about the main 2 things we do differently, which is obviously much better communication than you'll ever find on the high street because it's one-to-one communication with the business owner, and then better marketing. Those 2 are the ones I plug on. But I normally favour more the marketing because I love talking about the drone and the videos and that sort of thing. Maybe I need to talk more about the WhatsApp messages because it's so key. I was messaging clients at 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
It's no problem at all.
I think people get turned on though by different things. Don't they? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely spot on.
Some people you can just whip out a drone and that'll be it. Oh my God, a drone, amazing.
Whereas, but others need to know the nitty-gritty. And that's down to the individual. And it's not one. That's a beautiful thing about estate agency. It's not every single appointment is different. Not one will fit everyone.
Yeah.
It's not one size fits all.
And I think that I need to make more of a push this year of just documenting what I'm doing, how I'm helping my clients, being on the WhatsApp. Because I think, if you're just coming to sell your house and you don't do it very often, you think, well, so what? I've got you on WhatsApp. What difference does that make?
Yeah.
So you go with a slightly cheaper agent and then you can't get them on the phone for 4 days, then you're going to understand the value.
And the league, and even if they're not getting back to you as the client, think about as a buyer they've never spoken to, if they don't call them for 3 or 4 days, that lead's going to go cold. They might find somewhere else, they might not remember who they've inquired 100%. On. So interesting.
I had a call with someone before I came here, and they were talking about selling their property. They basically wanted to kind of cash in on the good market, which I'd said is kind of coming to an end. And they were saying, how does Avocado work? I explained self-employed, marketing, blah, blah, blah. And this person used to work for Foxtons.
Okay, yeah.
And she said, my concern is the reaching the international buyers. And I know the high street agents. She referenced Foxtons and Chancellors. Said, I know they have a good international reach. What's your feeling about that statement? Because of course I went back and explained that the difference is they might say they have X amount of buyers. Who knows whether they do or not? I'm investing hundreds of pounds for every property I market to actively push it to people.
Yeah.
As well as the market that's there actively looking on the portals. So I just think there's a bit of a false perception of like, oh, they've got a nice office in the high street. Of course, they're going to have links with Hong Kong.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and you think about how many properties. Like Hong Kong was a great example because obviously there was huge amounts of British citizens coming over and buying properties in the area, which was one of the catalysts for the prices increasing so quickly as they did. Back into 21 and into 2022. But the company I work for, we were a medium-sized 10-branch network. We didn't have connections to London. Or we had connections to London, not connections to overseas market, and we still sold 50% of our properties over 3 months were sold to buyers from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Yeah. When was the last time you sold a person, who was overseas and sent a representative for them to buy?
Yeah.
I always say, well, no, you need to come and see it. If you're not in the country, you're not going to buy it. As simple as that.
Well, it's also similar to the misunderstanding people have about investors. How often do people say, or investors will be interested in my house. Yeah. Builders or a builder be interested in my house.
Yeah. They will be if it's 100 grand underpriced.
Yeah, and it's a really delicate issue because when people say that to me, they say it as a belief.
Yeah.
They've been in the house for so long. I know investors. And also because people send these like mass mailers.
Yeah.
I'll buy your house for cash. We've had lots of mailers about.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah.
The nature of an investor is you're doing it for financial gain.
Yeah.
So you're not going to, by definition, you're not going to get as much money from them as someone who's emotionally connected with moving into your home.
Yeah, it's spot on, to be fair. And I think a lot of people that, right back to the start, we love the flow, we always link back to it, but right back to the start in the media, they'll see something that, investors are buying in the area or those are stuff like this. And they fall into that rhetoric and then that's what they believe and that's what they portray. And as a estate agent, you have to say, I've got loads of investors. But actually, is an investor going to be the best buyer? They may well be the best buyer for that property, but they also may not be. So why focus just on one type of buyer when you've got people downsizing, upsizing, first-time buyers, whatever it may be?
Yeah.
There's so many people out there.
Because no one cares really who they sell their home to, do they? I know people say, I want it to go to a nice family, but if an investor's offering you 10% more, you're taking that offer.
Yeah, I've seen instances where people have gone with a lower offer because it's a family over an investor.
How much lower?
Thousands. Not like multiple thousands, but
not
$5,000.
5%?
No, not 5%.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's an interesting point.
But then you've always got the stereotypical side of investors where if they offer 5% over value, they're just going to knock me down, aren't they, on survey?
Yeah, of course.
That's the investor's way.
Yeah.
Which is not. I've never had investors just slash prices on day of exchange, despite what people think.
No,
we're going to exchange today unless you drop your price by 10% or I'll pull out. I've never, in my career, this has never happened.
No, me neither.
Interesting. A couple more topics. We've got about 15, 20 minutes to run.
Flown through this.
We have flown through this. Two, they're kind of interlinked really, but one's more about you, because I want to know. Because I heard a rumour that Mr. Matt Barrell is turning 30 this year.
Yes, sir.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And it's in March, isn't it?
It's in March, yeah, man. First year for March.
Yeah, I got that now. I know that now.
Yeah, man.
After getting it wrong.
You've been on my Facebook looking.
No. We said it in the podcast a couple of podcasts ago, and I said your birthday's December, and you went, yeah, close, March.
Yeah, within 6 months.
Within 6 months, yeah. Within the same. No, it's not even in the same half of the year. Anyway, so you're turning 30.
Yep.
And your good lady Soph has. I saw something on Instagram that she's possibly booked you a trip, so you got a holiday booked coinciding with your 30th. I think it's quite a good one, isn't it?
So she hasn't. We sat down on Friday night and we booked a trip to Los Angeles for leaving on my birthday, going for 6 nights.
Amazing.
With flights, hotel, and the upgraded to convertible car as well, which was like 25 quid more a day. I was like, I'm having that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You are, aren't you?
Well, I like to. I think I spend money where only when it's necessary.
You need to. Yeah, okay.
This I needed to.
Where you needed to. Why wouldn't you need a convertible, don't you? So So where are you flying into? Where part of LA are you going to?
So just flying into LAX.
Oh, you're literally going to Los Angeles.
Yeah, have you been before?
No, I've never been. I've been to America 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I've only ever been East Coast or Canada. I know that's not America, but
that's.
I've never been across. I think the furthest west I've been is probably Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Right,
which is firmly on the east.
Yeah. So I've been lucky. I went on my 18th.
Yeah.
Ended up going again for my 21st.
30th.
And so now I'm like continuing the trend. And you'd think, why, Matt, you'll find somewhere else to go. But, I'm very lucky. I've been to lots of places.
Awesome.
I love
so 2033, it'll be your 40th birthday. And we'll be like best buds by then. Yeah. We've been podcasting for 10 years. We'll have 500.
1,000.
Well, I was thinking about this. If we're doing, let's say, 50 a year for 10 years, there's only 500. We'll probably be on episode around about 500. We could film episode 500. You look confused there. That's really
I'm just
simple
doing those
maths.
quick maths. Well, yeah.
So 50 a year times 10 is 500.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep it long.
That's every week for 10, more or less every week for 10 years. Okay, yeah,
cool.
let's do it.
Episode 400 if it'll make you feel better. 400 for your 40th. Anyway, I digress.
Maybe at 40, it's just that...
I know, but it's coming. I'll be there before you will.
Before me.
I'm 33
Softens the
this
blow
year.
a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll do your 40th birthday, maybe back in LA or somewhere cool.
Yeah.
And we'll do the 400th episode on your 40th birthday in a cool country.
Yeah, I like this because it's sort of like a visualisation, setting goals.
Forward planning.
Yeah, I love that.
Cool, that sounds good though. So just you and Sophie going, is it? Or
yeah, me and Soph going.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff we want to do. She hasn't been before, so yeah, just.
Oh mate,
just
but you're
really,
buzzing, and it's
really
not even
exciting.
that far away, like 2 months away.
No, it's nice because I was thinking, now just smash out 3 months of work, get as much done as I can, and then just go away for 6 days.
Did I talk about? I think I did talk. Did I talk about my mate and I booking a holiday a day before we go?
I don't know. You did mention that.
Cool. Okay, very quick. So I haven't booked any holiday. I haven't booked any holidays this year. Lauren's going away a couple of times on some hen do's. She's going to Marbella and somewhere else. I can't remember where it is. But I said to my mate Tom, I said, let's go away for 3 or 4 nights. You actually inspired me when you and your brother went to Marrakesh.
Oh, nice.
Lastminute.com.
Cool.
And I said, let's book Thursday to Sunday off.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday or Wednesday morning, we'll sit down on a laptop together, book our flights, book our accommodation, and then go to the airport the next day.
So, yeah.
And it could be anywhere.
It's fun. I mean, my holiday was not last minute intentionally. They just changed the flights. But it's, yeah.
No, but and it could be like somewhere within like 2 or 3 hours. Like we went to Barcelona last year for my brother's stag do.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually we got it, I think we did it for like 250 quid for like 3 nights, 4 nights.
Marrakesh for 300 quid.
Yeah.
And that was boozy as well.
Yeah. And I said to that, let's just do something. Let's just go somewhere really random that's hot, where it's got cheap beer, and like we could just be in a bunk bed in a hostel. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah. I'm still at the age where I love, like me and my brother love just going away and.
So we're going to try and do something like that. I don't know when, but that's my plan for holiday this year.
That's cool. Yeah. So there's no date on it. Just,
no. It's just it was a conversation we had when we were sort of 10 pints of Guinness deep. Yeah, great idea. I need to bring it up with him again actually because we'll get that booked. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, sounds good, man. Is that your sights on anywhere else? Where else have you got like a bucket list sort of?
Do you know, I haven't. Laura and I we really want to go to Japan.
Oh yeah.
Really want to go to Japan. I want to go Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji, isn't it? The one
Mount Fuji, and then is Fiji.
Fiji's another place.
Yeah.
The mountain in Japan.
Yeah, because I've looked at that, and it's near Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of.
So Tokyo, I want to go to a big city like that. I've heard it's really difficult though because every shop looks the same. You don't know if it's a restaurant or anything. They just look the same.
Okay, interesting.
But anyway, I love the difference between the city. Like you can be up that mountain and then be in the city close by.
Yeah.
So so that's a place I've always wanted to go.
You can climb that mountain.
You can, and you can see you see little monkeys. You know, there's the hot springs in Japan where they've got the monkeys that go in there. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Mate, clip on the screen. I think David Attenborough narrated it, but there's like a hierarchy of monkeys as well. Like you've got the king monkey and his family can like sit in this hot spring in the snow. So they're just around, just sort of in a hot tub basically. And the other little monkeys try and put their babies in there, but they're not high enough in the hierarchy to be allowed to go in the spring. So as soon as they dip their baby in to warm them up, the other monkeys come across and beat them up and stuff.
Wow.
Proper like
nature.
But yeah, they're in the mountains in Japan. We'll get clip on the screen. We'll get that sorted for you.
Nice.
Anyway, so Tokyo's one place that Japan I want to go to. I'd love to go to America again. I like, maybe the West Coast. I haven't been there before, so might be an idea. That's it, really. That won't be this year, I don't think.
It's funny. I find I'm now everywhere I go in the world, I put a starred place on my Google Maps. So it's really cool because when I look at my Google Maps, I'm like, I've been here, been there. I'm starting to get, I've been to Amsterdam loads of times. It's like, right, I've done that now.
Yeah.
I've been to Portugal a few times. I've done that.
This is going to sound really probably boring and uncultured, but you go to a European city, you kind of been to them. Like, I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to Barcelona, Prague. Yeah. They're all, again, they've got their different characteristics, but they're all much of a muchness, aren't they?
I'd say Amsterdam and Barcelona are very different.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Amsterdam. Every time I've been to Amsterdam, it's been bloody freezing. It's always been like December or January and snowing.
Yeah.
And now I've only ever been to Barcelona once, which was in the height of the summer, and it was like 35 degrees.
Yeah.
So they're obviously very different. But I feel like, for me, I'll go for the same thing, get fucked up, and that's it, really.
Brits abroad.
Yeah, it literally is. It's just a piss up.
Yeah.
So I can't, but think about it, maybe they are different. But what I mean, in a European city, there's a similar sort of feel to it.
There's a vibe, isn't there?
There's a vibe.
It's not like... And also, I come back home and I realise I take London for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
Because London has there is a magic about it.
There's a vibe as well.
I kind of, I don't love it 'cause it's like expensive and it's like just
too busy.
Busy and rah-rah. But then...
But it's nice, it's good to set your sights on travelling. One thing I've got, we talked about goals in the last episode, but one of mine this year genuinely is to go mountain biking abroad. I know I have to get mountain biking into every podcast, so I've done it again. But go somewhere abroad, like Canada's obviously, like Canada, Whistler in particular, is one of the hubs of the mountain bike scene. It's like one of the best places to go. The bike parks are incredible, like best in the world. That is the place to go in Canada. But also, all of the places... like the ski resorts, like Leger in France and Switzerland, they're all winter. They're massive ski resorts for the ski fraternity, and in the summer they're huge bike parks for the mountain biking community. They just literally switch.
That's so cool.
So I want to do that.
So would you have to take a bike across?
You can hire them. I mean, my bike wouldn't cope with like Morzine in France or Whistler in Canada. It's not built for that. It's not good enough.
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't be able to, so I would have to hire a bike out there or buy a better bike. Or so sell more houses, buy a better bike, go to Whistler.
Yeah.
I'll say to Lauren, you can come as well. You can just sit in a hotel.
Go to the bar, have a nice cocktail.
That's really expensive, I think, because it's kind of après skiing, but it's not as après biking.
Yeah, so that's going to be pricey, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got one last topic I wanted to discuss. I think we've got about 5-10 minutes left. So before we get on to what you've been watching, I think I'll briefly introduce you to this story that I found, and it actually coincides.
Yeah.
Again, this little segue because it's talking about crossing the Atlantic, just in a different form to you. You're going to be flying in a nice jet across the ocean. Actually, which way do you fly? Do you fly? Sounds really stupid. Do you fly over the Atlantic and then over America to get to LA, or do you go the other way? Would you go straight over the top?
Yeah, it's over the Atlantic.
It is over the Atlantic. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So there is something called the Talisker Atlantic Challenge. They also do a Talisker Pacific Challenge, and it is deemed as it's like an adventure race, one of the toughest and hardest rowing races.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can already see your eyes for dread.
It sounds tough.
Yeah. Imagine rowing 3,000 miles for over the course of about 40 days, rowing across the Atlantic.
I mean, I can't even. We went to the gym yesterday, right?
We did.
And I'm waking up this morning and be like, oh.
And all we did is a few dips. We didn't even do the rowing machine. So I found this story and it kind of inspired me and I liked it because I'm really close to my brother and I know you are as well. So there's two sets of twins. They're the Friend brothers. I can't remember all their names, but they're aiming to be the first team of brothers to complete the Atlantic Challenge and row across the Atlantic. They left the Canaries about a month ago, and they're rowing into Antigua. Okay,
so cool.
It is amazing.
So cool.
So far, they've raised £85,000 for charity as well. They're four brothers from Devon. Sorry, I keep kicking you there under the table. Sorry about that. But cool. Like, they seem good guys. I've got a little YouTube clip that I found that I'll just pop on the screen, or you can put on the screen now for you. Cool. It won't be for ages, just a little introduction. And they're on Instagram as well. Their boat's called The Friendship. I think if you Google The Friendship, go on Instagram, The Friendship Atlantic they are. 3,500 followers. They do daily updates. I thought it was a really inspiring story going across the Atlantic with your bros. They do 2 hours on, 2 hours off of rowing consistently, and they're in really good spirits for 35 days in.
Amazing. I think that's so cool that, for two sets of twins as well to band together and to do that.
So that was the bulk of the story. I think it was a really good news story, and they're trying to raise money. I'm going to donate some money, even if it's 10 quid. I'm going to donate some money to them because I think it's a fantastic cause. They've got 3 charities they're raising money for as well. But have you done anything with your brother? That I know we talked about the last podcast about me and my brother running Manchester half marathon together. It's not really the same scale as rowing the Atlantic. But have you ever done anything like that with your bro? Other than going piss ups to Marrakesh?
Basically, no.
Okay. But do you think it's something you would want to do?
I think I'd probably be more up for it than Charlie would be. I'll have to show him this clip and see his response. Or, I think we certainly like adventuring the world, but I'm not sure if doing it through the means of physical activity is
probably not the one for you.
So
we do a lot like that. Like we do, when we climb, it doesn't sound, for people that have gone up the Brecon Beacons, it's a long walk. It's not a big ordeal.
Right.
Whereas my brother and my dad and I did it, and it was snowing, and we thought, fuck it, let's just go straight up. And it doesn't sound a lot, but it really, really was difficult. I've got a photo I put on, again, I'll send it to you, stick it on the screen now. And this was a couple of years ago, but we went, and you were literally coming up to snow on your knees, and it was so hard work. And we set off at like 5 a.m. to get up. We got up to the peak at like, it's not peak, it's like a Penny Fan, 886 metres high,
right?
Tallest place in Wales. And no, sorry, Snowdon's the tallest place. Beg your pardon. It's quite high anyway.
Pretty high. 800 and what metres?
886 metres.
You think our drones can only go 120 metres?
Good way of putting it.
When you put it in that perspective.
Yeah, really. But yeah, actually, that's the thing. It's quite high then, isn't it?
Very high.
And we actually climbed 7 peaks by accident because it was so snowy and misty. We went up the 3, up to Penny Fan, and then down to the next one, and then took the wrong turn at some point, and we're coming back up these icy stairs or icy things that's carved into the mountain. We got back to Penny Fan again, the top point. So we actually did it. We went up twice, which was stupid. It was a long walk. We would have blisters and then got smashed at the end of it. But that was a good little adventure.
It's good because you got that reward, you got that physical exercise, you got the achievement at the top, you got the celebration at the end.
We were still drunk. Sorry, that was a good point. We were still drunk from the night before when we started as well. So we didn't go. We were still in the pub at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then got up. So we had 3 or 4 hours sleep and then did it. Yeah. That was what made it even harder.
Yeah, I don't know if me and Charlie. I don't know what we'd be attempting. Maybe do a little 5K.
Yeah, maybe a 5. Yeah. Do a little park run together or something. That'd be.
We're not massively outdoorsy people. It's funny.
Yeah.
I said to him, we were in the car the other day, and I said, if for your forever home, are you thinking country or city? We both grew up in a little village, West Oxfordshire. We now live in a village near Reading. I think, but we both kind of, I don't know. I feel like my head's in the city, my heart's in the country.
Yeah. Little commute about.
Whereas he's more of a city boy.
No, I'm definitely a country guy. I'd love to be out in the middle of nowhere. Like the next house we go to, it's only for schools we've moved back into the area. If it was me, I'd move much further out. I don't mind travelling half an hour to get anywhere.
Yeah.
If I've got the space, I just want fields. I can build some jumps on my bike.
Yeah, I think I'm the same actually.
Yeah. Anyway, check them out. The Friendship Atlantic. I think it's a good cause.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And a good news story filled in a world that's full of shit news stories. So there we go.
Bringing some positive news.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got What You've Been Watching. Have you got What You've Been Watching?
Yeah, I've got What You've Been Watching, and it's a prank caller. Have we done a prank caller before?
I think we did actually, mate. No, did we?
I've got another one, and I'm going to put it up on the screen now.
Cool. Let me
spin your laptop. First, then I've got to say, I'm going to put it up on the screen now.
Hello.
Hey, there is available.
Yeah, this is she.
This is Alec with Instagram. How are you today? Instagram actually came out with some new policies this year for 2023. One of the things that we're taking a look at is taking away verifications, the blue check mark, for accounts that we feel are not meeting our expectations.
No, you guys are not going to take away my verification.
Fortunately, you ended up on the list. So we have a lot of up-and-coming Instagram models, and we feel that your pictures are just not meeting the expectations to have a blue check mark anymore.
What the fuck?
You're still going to have the account. We're just taking away the blue check mark, and we're going to be giving it to another, Instagram model.
I worked so fucking hard for my account. I'm way better than all the other girls. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? Literally, I'm so confused. There's no way this is even real. I'm fucking calling my manager right now.
Yeah.
Fuck Hello.
So
I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously, it's quite funny, but that is a bit. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. That is a bit. I think it's a bit close to the bone because that's a bit out of order. Obviously, that's comedy, isn't it?
it is a bit out of order, but then that's probably why I find it funny.
Yeah, it's probably funny.
So he also prank calls dads of girls and says he's going to marry their daughter.
Awesome. So my watching, I haven't actually got any. I'm not. We can put a trailer up. Actually, should we put a trailer up? It's on Netflix.
Let's put a little clip of a trailer up now.
Clear! 90 seconds! 20 seconds! Hands up, everybody up! Let's go!
So thanks for watching the trailer.
It looks really good. It looks like my kind of film.
It's not a film. It's a series.
Ah.
And do you know what's special about this series? You can watch the episodes in any order.
Is it the same characters?
Yeah. It's the same program.
Interesting.
We were really boring and we watched it in the order Netflix told us to watch it.
Kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope. But you can watch, so I think I'm pretty sure there's 6 or 7 episodes. I'm not too sure. Can't remember. Double check. But each episode itself refers to a different, long story short, there's a heist. They're going to try and rob a vault in somewhere in America.
Yeah.
I can't remember, it's New York. And there's a backstory behind it. First episode starts, it comes up, they're all different colours, like the different branding, 25 years before the heist. Then one's the day before the heist. Then the next episode is 6 weeks before the heist. Then one is the day after the heist. And then the last episode, which I would recommend leaving to last, is the day of the heist. Yeah, that's the last episode.
Right. So
But you don't have to watch them in order. So you can watch the heist first, and then you can watch why they targeted that guy, and it all into watching it. Now I've watched all the episodes, and so we watched it in the order Netflix come because I couldn't be bothered to keep changing them.
So how did you know you can watch them in any order? Do they make?
Because it's the thing. Google, can you watch Kaleidoscope in any order? So you can watch them in chronological order. You can watch
them. Did Netflix say like?
It wasn't Netflix. You can just watch them in any order. It doesn't. The stories, it would work either way. Nothing's given away.
I see.
And if in the
so
last
they haven't like marketed it as like, hey, this is a new series you can watch in any order.
No, it's a thing. Let's just Google it quickly. Can you watch Kaleidoscope in any order?
I've just typed Kaleidoscope into Google Images and I forgot how pretty they are.
There are 8 episodes in total. Some are set before a heist, some after the heist, and one episode concerns the heist itself. But here's the thing: you can watch the episodes in any order you like. That's from The Guardian.
I see.
So you can start with the actual heist itself, and you see the ending of everything happens, and then you go back to the beginning and see the background of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said to Lauren, let's watch it in a different order, but they're all jumbled up anyway. So
surely watching the heist and then going back, like you wouldn't watch the end of the film.
No, because the heist, I can't give it away, but watching the heist, you just see them breaking into the heist and what goes if let's say something went wrong during the heist. No spoilers here, but if something went wrong, you understand the background of why and what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And then you look at the reason why they're actually there's no reason why they're breaking into that heist or what the resemblance is. And one of the main characters, if you didn't watch the first episode, at the heist you think, fuck, that's her.
Yeah.
So you need to watch it. But
Gotcha.
honestly, I think you, Soph, Charlie, you love it. All of you love it.
We're gonna sit back down in front of the telly
and do it
like we did all of Christmas.
Yeah. Honestly, we loved it. I would go as far as saying it's probably one of my favourite limited series I've seen ever.
It looks like my jam.
It's good.
Looking at the thing there, only 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. So.
I think that's rotten.
6.9 on IMDb.
No all lies.
But 84% of Google users liked this TV show.
It's fantastic. It's so good. Well written, well thought out. A little bit of drama, a little bit of action, bit of comedy. It's great.
Yeah.
Really good.
Sounds good.
Worth
cool.
a watch.
That's what you've been watching.
That's what I've been watching. And next time, that's 2 weeks in a row of my Netflix. So I can tell you can tell I've been watching a lot of Netflix recently. No chilling, just
good.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Call that a wrap, shall we? I think that's about an hour.
So, yeah, excellent. Good stuff. How long does it take you to watch all the episodes?
We did it in about... We normally do 2 episodes a night.
Yeah.
I think one we did 2.5. So it's about a week.
Because I'm just like, once I see it and I know there's another episode,
yeah,
I'm like,
it's different for us because like it's dangerous when Lauren starts full time working with me, that we could just sort of stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning and then just sleep in the morning. At least now we've got to get up and get Milo. Well, we do have to get up and get Milo to school.
yeah.
But even when we were ill pre-Christmas, we did one day when we talked about it when we watched the Harry and Meghan documentary.
Oh yeah, of course.
I battled to get out of bed, took Milo to school, came back home, and we were back in bed for 9 till probably about 1 in the afternoon, just being ill.
Because I don't get, Soph doesn't get like when she's ill or when it's, you know, she's not doing anything, she'll just be like, no, I'm staying in bed all day. I've got this new series I'm watching. Please leave me alone.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I just get frantic.
But Laura and I, we really often do like the same things.
Yeah.
There's I'll save it for another watching, but there's a program I'm watching which she doesn't like, and I did binge that. I did like 5 hours in a row.
Yeah. So Lauren likes the like gripping thriller stuff.
Yeah, I think we've got similar. Like I love mind bending. I love sci-fi. I love futuristic. I love time travel. Like that is really what floats my boat. Anything with time traveling, don't care. Sold. I'll watch it.
Up.
Yeah.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah. Well, I didn't like Black Mirror. That's the one where it's like they're all a little bit different. The series, the episodes. Yeah.
That's what I thought of when you said you can watch them in any order.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, this isn't. This is one series.
Yeah.
But the way it's written, you can watch them in any order. I would recommend watching them in chronological order. I think would work quite well. As in, first episode.
Start at the beginning.
Work your way through.
It's how I've watched every other series I've ever watched.
Okay, well, don't watch it that way then. Maybe watch the ending first and then watch the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
It's like the Star Wars things.
I'm not going to do that. That's like having your...
Just watch it on Netflix.
That's like having your after dinner coffee, then having your profiteroles.
It'll make sense you watch it. Watch it. Tell me what you think about it.
Oh well, cool. To be resumed.
All right. And that's a wrap. So thank you everyone for listening or watching or seeing our reels on Instagram relating to episode 6 of the Living Room Chat podcast.
Yeah.
As we always say, you can follow us. We are on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Google now, and very soon.
Yeah, there's a whole list. There's
Apple as well.
Apple, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're going to be...
We want to get out there. We wanted to build a certain amount of episodes before we started branching out, but we are soon going to be branching out as much as possible. But yeah, please do check us out. There is a Linktree link where it has links to all of our links. Lots of links.
Because it's a Linktree, so it has links. That's what it does.
But for now, thanks for watching. I've been Ryan Bloomfield. This guy's been Matt Barrell. And we'll see you.
And this is him.
And we'll see you in episode 7 next week.
Episode 7.
Nice one. Cheers, guys.
Bye.